To the Capitol, Governor Dan McKee standing by, ready to answer your questions about the bridge, the backups, the lawsuit, and returning Providence Public Schools back to the city. Governor, always good to see you. Thanks for making some time.
Well, thanks for the invite, Dan.
Is the Dunkin' Latte a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or we're not sure?
I think it's a thumbs up, but I stay away from the caffeine because if I have caffeine after like 10 in the morning, I'm up all night. So.
Oh, my Lord, we don't want that. Governor, I want to talk a little bit about the Washington Bridge because there's a lot of questions here, and I want to take one of the live cameras that we show people every day, if our director can pop it up. And this is the view from 95 North. Okay, so you know you changed the lanes and everything went great, but every day taxpayers and viewers are sitting in the traffic like this, trying to get onto the bridge. Is there anything to be done to try to alleviate this side of the bridge traffic?
Yeah, so it's frustrating. There's no doubt about the whole ordeal's been frustrating. I think we're making a great deal of progress. We're checking off boxes. You're going to see demolition starting, asphalt being removed, barges being brought in place in the next week or so to take down the bridge. The traffic flow is back to where it was in terms of the volume, but yet the west side is shorter time frame, virtually the entire day. But going east clearly is taking more time during that early morning commute as well as the afternoon. We're looking at it. Anything that we can physically do to help improve that situation, we're trying to make that happen. But again,
this is the scene that's up next to you on the camera there that we had on that.
I just drove by it.
Yeah. Okay. So you drove by it. So it's every day we show this, and people are stuck there. So is there anything that can be done on this side of the bridge?
Well, that's the questions that we're asking, Dan. You know, we certainly asked the questions about when we first closed the bridge, that the backup was really horrendous. We were able to do the 3 lanes. Like I said, west traffic now is actually better in all cases. I know that we're continuing to monitor and enforce. Actually, accidents are down as opposed on both sides of the bridge because of the work we're doing. We're looking at other possibilities that could potentially ease that east.
Yeah, because that's a problem area that was doesn't seem to alleviate itself. I want to talk about the lawsuit. Yes. That was the day of reckoning that you famous phrase that you used during this. Talk to me a little bit about the complications and the dichotomy of this. The state is filing suit against companies that are currently contracted by the state to demolish the bridge. That's a very interesting dynamic.
Well, it's normal cost of business, right?
To me, no, but
no, it is. So you know companies that do work, and if you have issues with them, they go through the process of legal process. That's happening right now. The state and the attorneys that we brought on are now working directly with the Attorney General to move that case forward on behalf of the taxpayers. That's something that is going to hold people accountable. Prior to December 11th, when this was kind of put on my desk to a large degree, we're doing everything we can to recover, put the financing in place so that the bridge is put in a way where
when you say it's business as usual, Governor, because I want people to understand this, it's normal to file a lawsuit against companies that failed inspections and now are hired to demolish the bridge. To me, that seems like it's, can we trust them to do the job if we're suing them from another part of the job that they didn't do?
Well, yes, you can. And that's what we're doing, and we're going to hold them accountable if, in fact, there's a reason to do that. You don't have the the right to our procurement process. It's an open bidding process. If there's not a reason not to give grant the contract, then you provide the contract as long as they meet the requirements that you need to make sure that you.
And you can trust that they're doing a good job, even though you're also suing them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Governor, I want to talk a little bit about accountability for the state's part. Yes, you had some contractors that you hired, but the state had a responsibility to inspect a lot of the way, and there's questions about whether or not that actually happened. Do you believe the state also bears some responsibility?
Well, I think that's going to become more clear during this legal process.
But I mean, based on what you know now.
Based on what I know now, I think that they were following the directions that were given by the professionals that they brought in.
But so the state is not responsible for doing their own independent inspections to say what's going on here, or did that not get done?
The inspections that haven't happened right on the bridge or any bridge in the state are being done by professionals that we rely on. and then the people who work, in the Department of Transportation rely on those inspections.
Right.
That's
Obviously,
that's what the lawsuit is about.
Right, because we couldn't rely on them because obviously they missed some things, as you said it publicly.
We have said that, and then clearly I believe that this should have been addressed long before I was governor. But we are addressing it. You mentioned there are things that are improved, and there are things that we're still struggling with that are being very frustrating. Making it very frustrating for the people who live in Rhode Island.
When is the state going to put out the bids for a contractor to rebuild the bridge? It seems like that process has been stalled a bit.
It has. We went out. I think that we were. Remember, the RFPs by statute are done outside of my office, which is frustrating in itself, right? But but now you had a request for information. 11 companies responded. That information is being shifted through, and once we get somebody to actually rebuild the bridge that last our lifetimes, we'll make that all public.
So the bid would go out soon then? Are we talking like a week, 2 weeks? Or?
No, right now we're going through the request for information. That we have that information now about what these companies, 11 companies, feel as though would make this run smoother, and have them be interested in doing the bids. The request for proposals will be done, in a reasonable period of time. That's being determined right now. But we're in a process where we're checking off the box on each and everything that we're doing, and I think it's important that the public knows that we put the funding together. We're in line for a potential mega grant that will be coming out in the next couple months.
Are you frustrated with the slow of the process?
I get frustrated by the bureaucracy every day that I'm working at it, but I also know that you follow the procedures. They're built in for reasons, and we are moving ahead and making progress each and every day. I have weekly meetings with right now. Good news for some of the businesses. Dollars were put out.
Through. Yeah, that's right.
That's going to start be appropriated and dispersed over the next few weeks.
They're giving me a hard rap, Governor, but I just want to ask you very quickly: are you in favor or not in favor of turning the schools back over to Providence?
Yes, well, we'll follow the lead of the Commissioner Infante Green.
She's going to make an announcement tomorrow?
Yes, and she'll be making an announcement.
Do you know what she's going to say?
I'm not sure exactly what she's going to say, but I believe that the reports that we've had both by Harvard and another leading institution saying we're making progress there. There are still things to do. I think that we've got to continue.
Are we ready to hand it off or no? Are you ready to hand off the schools back to the
in a reasonable period of time? I think I've talked to Mayor Smiley very early on, and I felt as though that there would be a transition before his term is over, and that's what I would expect.
Okay. I wish I had more time, Governor.
Yes.
We'll have to have
There's a lot of things going on.
A half-hour live show with you and me and answer all the questions.
Set it up. I'll be happy to be here.
All right. I appreciate, Governor. I appreciate your time. Emily?